Started with our event. Thank you everyone for coming to Finding Your Business Pathway, the July virtual event of Girls for Business in 2021. We are so excited that you're here with us today and so excited for you guys to hear from our amazing panelists.
Yeah, great. So thanks everyone for coming. I think Sophia, I'm not sure where she is, but she's one of the co-founders and director of operations of Girls for Business. And I'm, of course, the co-director of outreach of Girls for Business. You guys probably know me from all the Girls for Business events, but I'll be the host again of today's event. And a special thank you to all of our wonderful panelists, Rania, Allison, Karen, and Jessica for speaking today. So just to get everyone sort of like warmed up for today's event, could you guys type your name, grade, and the state or region where you're from in the chat? So I can go. I'm a rising junior in high school from Maryland. Yeah, I'll be getting started soon. A lot of people from Maryland. I think a lot of Girls for Business. It's made up of Maryland, California, Michigan. Yeah, we're super excited for you guys to join us today. Yeah, a lot of our own team members are here. 3 of our panelists today are actually team members of Girls for Business. So that's super exciting. If you guys want to get involved, there's a lot of information coming at the end of the event today. And I'm also going to be introducing our organization if you're unfamiliar with us more as we get started soon. Yeah, thank you to everyone. If you're like in a different time zone where this is like a really awkward time or something, thank you for making the time to attend our event and come hear from our amazing speakers. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of different places. And yeah, as these trickle in and more people trickle into the Zoom, I'll get started introducing our event. So Rachel, if you go to the next slide. Today at our Finding Your Business Pathway event, we hope to educate, inspire, and empower all middle and high school girls in pursuing a business pathway and assist in your exploration towards a business degree at the many possible schools you may wish to attend. So we've invited 4 highly experienced panelists who are soon to be freshmen in college and pursuing their business degrees with a variety of unique focuses at a range of amazing business schools. And they'll be sharing with you unique perspectives, experiences throughout high school, and advice on the college application process. So we're so excited for our 4 amazing panelists to share their diverse experiences with you all today. And moving on, we'll have a full rundown of today's event structure. So first, I'll be briefly introducing our organization, Girls for Business, and sharing our initiatives with you guys. And then our wonderful panelists will then be introducing themselves more and sharing their general experiences and journeys in pursuing business in college. And then segueing into the main portion of our event, our panel discussion. So our panelists will offer deeper insights on their different journeys throughout high school and the college application process through a full group discussion based on the topics and questions we received from you guys in our event RSVP form. And we'll also give you guys the chance to ask questions live during the discussion and finally wrap up the event at around 4:55 Eastern Standard Time with panelist contact information if you have any further inquiries for anyone, as well as how to get involved with our organization and future events. So without further ado, I'll get started introducing Girls for Business. We're a student-led nonprofit organization that's dedicated to empowering girls interested in exploring business career pathways. So established in June 2020 last year and composed of a team of over 120 members, Girls for Business has impacted thousands of girls worldwide through its platforms. And since business education is scarcely touched upon in the school curriculum, our mission is to encourage girls in grades 6 through 12 who are interested in exploring a business pathway by providing them with ample business education resources. And by providing free mentorship programs, business news, educational virtual events, and engaging resources, our team hopes to create a platform where girls can find business guidance and establish strong connections with like-minded young women. So currently, our team is wrapping up our 3rd cycle of the Girls for Business Mentorship Program, which is a 10-week program that offers girls in grades 6 through 12 the opportunity to study under experienced undergrad students who are seasoned in the business field. And we're getting ready to kick off our 4th mentorship cycle really soon. So if you want to learn more about how to get involved, more information will be shared at the end of today's event. Girls for Business also publishes bi-weekly business newsletters that feature the latest news in business, valuable career tips, business opportunities and internships for us, and exclusive interviews with professional business individuals and more. And so moving on, we have a quick rundown. I think I went over these a little, but to go more in depth, Girls for Business has 3 central programs. So our business mentorship program, as I mentioned, our resource program, and also our business networking program. The mentorship program has provided free business mentorship to over 120 student mentees. Our resource program releases bi-weekly business newsletters with educational resources and business news. And also the Girls for Business initiative has impacted over 60 countries all across the globe and accumulated over 3.5K followers on all of its social media platforms. So super impressive. And we couldn't be here without like the support of you guys, everyone who's coming to our events and supporting us on social media. So thank you guys. And I'm so excited to welcome our panelists. Going on to the next slide, here's a quick, descriptions that you guys saw in the RSVP form. You'll be hearing from Rania, Allison, Karen, and Jessica today. Our panelists will be introducing themselves and sharing their general experiences a little more in the next slide, so you can all get to know them. So we'll start with Rania and then go in order. And yeah, without further ado, I'll pass it over to her. Take it away.
I think Rania might actually have just disconnected from an internet instability, so we can come back to Rania and start off with Allison.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm super excited to be here. My name is Allison. I'm from Ottawa, Ontario in Canada, and I am going to Western University in London, Ontario. Western's kind of special. It's like a very flexible and like very different structure. So I'm actually going into health science for the first 2 years, and I have an advanced entry opportunity into the Ivy Business School at Western University for my honors in business administration. And I hope to combine my degree with a Juris Doctor degree for law school. So as you can see, like my career plan is to become an entrepreneur and a corporate lawyer. And just health science was just kind of in the mix, kind of something I was just interested in. So I've always wanted to do business ever since I was younger. I remember my dad taking me to different companies with his friends being, entrepreneurs or just working in the field. I got firsthand experience watching them and learning from them, and I was super lucky to be able to do that. And so ever since when I was young, business was kind of like, I knew it was going to happen no matter what. So one of my experiences in business is that I am a founder and director of Auxilium. It's also a nonprofit organization, and I started it a year ago, and it provides educational resources. It's kind of like Girls for Business, but instead of it being geared towards like business side of things, it's for just education in general. And I am involved with Girls for Business as well. I am a mentorship coordinator, and I highly recommend the mentorship program. I think it's very useful, and it's something that I would have really wanted to do in high school and middle school. I participated in Junior Achievement, which is basically a program for high school students where you kind of like make your own company with like very low funding. And our company keepers, we were making personalized keychains. I was the vice president of corporate social responsibility. I was also administration head for my first robotics team a few years ago, 2 years ago, and I work at the Bay Camp as an instructor. So that's what I'm doing in the summer. And then on the side, it's kind of business related, but I started a photography kind of hobby business just for fun. I love dancing. I love all arts. I'm a competitive dancer. I love music. And yeah, fun fact, I've worked more than 7 paid jobs before. Yeah, I'm just excited to share my story with you guys. And I'll pass it on to Karen, I think.
Hi, everyone. Very excited to be here. I'm Karen He, and I'm from San Francisco, and I'll be an incoming freshman to UPenn's Wing School of Business. I intend to concentrate in finance and business analytics, but I'm technically kind of still undecided because you only have to declare your concentrations, I think, your third year. So I still have time to decide. And I didn't always want to go into business. I always thought I'd be a nurse until like my sophomore year. But until I took like a introduction to business course at my local city college, that's when I decided maybe business is my thing, because I didn't really like the idea of going to med school and all that. But the first exposure to business aside from that course was probably like co-founding a nonprofit called World Association of Young Artists. I did that in like 2016 with like some other people in Silicon Valley, and we basically hold events in art galleries. And then I think one pretty major event was we held a art gallery in the SF Children's Creativity Museum in like 2019. So that was pretty cool. And then we also have an interview team, and we got to interview Congressman Ro Khanna. I don't know if you know him. He's also in, I think, Sunnyvale. But yeah, we just interview political figures about like art, education, or like political phenomenons. And then after that, I'm a martial artist in karate for like 10 plus years. So I founded a girls self-defense club in my high school, and I basically just teach basic self-defense techniques. And I did continue this club over the pandemic, which was a little tough because I did have to like record videos and all that. But I did learn how to like edit videos and use software related to that. So that was a good learning experience. And I am also a part of the Girls for Business. I'm a mentorship coordinator, and I strongly recommend if any of you guys are interested in exploring the business pathways to apply, because I think the next cycle is coming up. And then some hobbies: I love to solve jigsaw puzzles, play friendly tennis, and travel.
Thanks so much, Karen. And also thank you, Allison. Rania just was able to get back into Zoom, so we can go back and have her introduce herself now.
Hi guys, my name is Rania, and I just graduated from the International Academy East campus. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the International Baccalaureate program, but that's what I was part of. And I also just got awarded my IB diploma. So I've my high school and IB diploma from the International Academy. I am attending the University of Michigan Ross School of Business as a freshman in the fall. I'm not going to dive too deep in the admission process right now. I'm sure you guys will have a lot of questions about that, and I will talk about that later. But I will be earning my bachelor's in business administration. So unlike a lot of business schools at Ross, you're going to be learning what makes it like unique out of different business schools is you're learning everything. You're studying finance, you're studying accounting, you're studying everything, and you're earning your business administration, and then you pick a concentrate like whatever you want, like finance, accounting, and which right now, as I said in my slides, I'm going to be exploring everything because I don't know what I'm going to like the most. The Ross School of Business has been my dream for a few years. I didn't know I wanted to do business my whole life. I thought I was going to do med field. That's what my whole family's doing. My whole family's med field. And as you all know, the business field is looked down upon when you're talking about med field. But my biggest advice is always like put your first foot forward and like never give up. The Ross School of Business, if you guys know, it's a very good school, and I did not think I would get in but I tried my best, and I did get in. How do I go to the next slide? Perfect. Again, I'm going to dive deep into this during our questions, but some things that I was involved in is the Detroit Economics Club, which is in Michigan. It's like a huge economics club. I'm very interested into economics. And that was kind of like a mentorship program that I got a lot of experience with like financial management skills and social issues in the business field. I was the president and lead board member of the Relay for Life American Cancer Society at my school. And I also did HOSA, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. And during HOSA is like a medical thing. That's why a lot of people in business don't do, people that are interested in business don't do it. But I actually did like a community event, and it was like a business side of HOSA. And you can go to our next slide. I was the co-founder of the economics club at my school, where I executed and planned all the meetings. I also was an eager volunteer at the nonprofit organization Neighborhood House. I again co-funded another organization called Helping Hands for Hunger, which it was actually part of my HOSA event. I continued it, and I'm still doing it right now. It's just basically to help fight hunger. And I was also a volunteer coordinator and marketing member for Kids Standard organization, and I also managed their social media. And I'll pass it on to the next person.
Okay, hi guys. I'd say wait, hold on. I'm Jessica. I'm from SoCal. I went to Camarillo High School. I don't know if any of you guys know where that is, but basically I didn't know I wanted to do business at all until maybe like freshman year. A lot like Karen and Rania. I wanted to go into the medical field too. I really wanted to be like a surgeon, and then I realized you had to go to med school and take the MCAT and do all that stuff all over again for the third time. So yeah, I didn't want to do that. And so freshman year that was where I first got introduced to business. My school has a business academy. And so I took a class in the business academy. And then the next year, I don't know if any of you guys know what Berkeley Business Academy for Youth is, but I went to BBay, which is the acronym for it. And there I met some really amazing people. And I would like highly recommend it if you guys, are looking for something in the summer. So I met some really amazing people there, and from there, me and my friends from BBay, we like started this, company called Rethread, and then from there, my interest in business sort of just like sparked. And so some of the stuff that I did in high school is I was in charge of the Bada Design Co., which is a t-shirt company for local companies in Camarillo. I was also the team fundraising chair for the international internship program. I don't know if you guys know that, but we basically are just a team that helps a struggling business in Nigeria. And then I was also the president of FBLA. And some hobbies are tie dance. I say tie dance was a part of my life for like 15 years. I also love to snowboard and ski, and I like playing video games. And that's it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jessica. And Jessica is also my outreach co-director at Girls for Business. And yeah, since she is graduating and becoming a senior member, we are looking for more additions to our outreach team, and I would highly recommend you apply as well, but I'll get more into that at the end of the event. So thank you so much, all of our panelists who've introduced themselves, and we'll be transitioning to our panel discussion, the main part of our event, where everyone's going to delve deeper into their personal and professional experiences and unique perspectives. So first, we'll be starting off with a couple of the most frequently asked questions from you guys in our RSVP form. So again, to all of our panelists, if any question speaks to you particularly throughout the discussion, please feel free to chime in. And so I think our most frequently asked question to all four of our panelists from the RSVP form was, why did you choose your school? Like, what made it the one you wanted to choose? And so whoever wants to start, you can go ahead and popcorn to everyone.
I can start. So I always wanted to go to the Ross School of Business because I think it's the third best business school in the United States, and then obviously #1 in my state. I also wanted to go because it's only an hour away from home, so I'm very close to my home. So that was a really big factor for me as well. I didn't want to move out too far. And I've always been a Michigan fan. The school is also just it's like a beautiful school that was very, everyone has different like priorities. For me, I really wanted like a nice school, something that I felt like my thing was family. Like I just did not want to be too far from family. And again, it's just an amazing business school that offers a lot of different things that you can explore. It's not just like a small business school that doesn't have like many different concentrations that you could explore.
I can go next. It was so difficult for me to choose a university. I swear I think I chose it like at the last minute, but honestly, I don't regret choosing Western. As you probably like noticed in my little spiel, I'm kind of interested in everything. I always knew I was gonna do business, but I'm interested in like health sci. I'm interested in med. I'm like I did robotics. Like I'm interested in so much, and Western allowed me to basically do them all. Western's very different. I think it's the only school that ever does this actually. But I'm not actually doing business for the first 2 years. So for the first 2 years, you get to decide what you want to do. You can do business, you can do science, you can do computer science, you can do, I don't know, dance or arts or, I don't know, music or whatever you want. And then for the third and fourth year, you would do HBA, so an honors in business administration, and Ivy Business School, which just allowed me to kind of work with that flexibility, because I didn't really know for sure if I like wanted to disregard my other passions and like STEM and everything like that. So I kind of wanted to explore that, and it's really cool because you go into class and in third year, and there's people that have taken music, have taken econ, have taken med sci, and they have all different perspectives. So when you discuss, it's so much more enriching because you see like different sides of the story, right? So that's why like I wanted to choose Western. It's a very well-known school, at least in Canada, and their cases are definitely top in Canada, which I thought was cool. And the campus was absolutely beautiful when I visited. So there are many reasons why I love Western, but those are just a few.
I have a quick question for Allison. So will you be receiving your bachelor's in business administration or?
Yeah, so so you can do 5 years and like get a business arts as an honors in business administration, and then I don't know, I did health sci, like complete your bachelor's in health sci, so that would take 5 years, and you can do that. I'm not doing that just because I'm combining my degree with a law degree. So instead of 3 years of law school, I only have to do 2 years of law school with my business degree as well.
Okay, I can go. I got an early decision, which is like a binding thing. You have to apply early, and then if you get in, you kind of have to go. But the reason why I applied, I think the number one reason was the location. All the schools that I was considering to applying to were all city schools, or like very urban-ish. And then second of all, I wanted to be away from my family. I mean, not because like I don't want to be with them, but I want to be more independent. So like, I mean, going to the East Coast was a good decision. And then third, I'm not gonna lie, the name does have a pull. I mean, Wharton is like pretty prestigious. But most of all, I think it's also their academic program, because they do have a lot of concentrations you can choose from, and you can concentrate in 2 of them. And they also require you to take certain introductory classes. It's like a part of your credits, so like you have to take them. And that's perfect for me because I don't really know what I want to do specifically in business. So making me take those introductory courses will allow me to explore the different pathways.
Okay, so I chose Harvard because Harvard has been like my dream school. Well, like it's like one of those like dream schools where it's like in the back of your mind, you don't really know, like you're not gonna get in, but like it's like a dream school. And so once I like got accepted, I was like, literally, how could I deny? And also, like I didn't want to go my entire life not knowing what life like at Harvard would have been like. So Um, that's why I chose Harvard, but also I have no idea what I want to do. Like, absolutely no idea. Like, I did business activities in high school, but I don't know if I want to like continue business in college. Um, and so like at Harvard, you can really just explore anything. Because just like Karen, I don't think you have to declare your major until like the third year too. Um, and they also have the general education too. So like I can just explore. And also a lot like Karen, I wanted to leave too. So going across the country is really nice. And I love the city. And it's like right next to Boston, so that's really cool. And my sister also lives in Boston, so it's, I don't know, nice to have someone there too. And I've always wanted to go to the East Coast, so yeah.
Great, thank you so much to all of you for answering the question. Okay, and yeah, we'll be going into live questions in a few minutes, actually, when we're halfway through the discussion time. So if you guys have, any questions you want to ask the panelists that you're thinking of, you can feel free to start putting them in the chat. And then when we get to, okay, yep, they're coming in. When we get to the live discussion or live question part, I'll be pulling from your guys' questions straight from the chat. So I think I'll pick one more RSVP question before we head to that. A pretty popular one, I think was surrounding, extracurriculars, internships, and how did you find opportunities or get yourself involved and, develop opportunities that helped you with college admissions later.
I can start. So I just saw a question in the chat as well about extracurriculars. As you guys know, at least for me, it's so much easier to do extracurriculars with going through the med field, like everyone's like volunteering at hospitals and stuff. With the business field, everyone's like, what do you do? Like, what's going to make you stand out? That's another question in the chat. Stand out in your applications. And I really think that, I'm just going to go back to my slides really quick. I really think that like so with business, I think a lot of college, I got accepted into every single college that I applied to because I think the number one thing that I stood out with leadership. They really like with business, you can't be a successful business leader while being like, not a leader, like a group member. So I think all the college application readers, they really wanted to see leadership, and that's why I told you guys about like co-funding if you could, clubs at your school, but never to do something just for your college application. A lot of times like teachers say that and counselors say that, but it's really true. And stats is another thing. It's not an end all be all. I'm speaking from experience, like your SAT or ACT, you need a high for prestigious like Harvard, Wharton, the Ross School of Business, those are top schools. And if that's your goal, yes, you definitely, like, I'm not going to lie to you, you don't need to focus on your stats, you do. But it's really about your activities at the end of the day with business. It's about your extracurriculars, your essays. They want to see passion. They don't want to see someone for the Ross School of Business. I know I talked to the dean and he said, they don't want to see someone unsure of business. I know a lot of our panelists were talking about how like they want to do this and this, which is fine. But when you're applying to a business school, you need to be business oriented on your essays. You cannot be talking about anything other than business. Can we answer chat questions or should we do that after?
I think focus on the questions now, and then I'll be, taking chat questions as we go, and then we can get to
perfect.
later.
Someone else can talk now.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything that's been said. I think like a big one is like we can make our own opportunities as well. And that was something that I didn't think was possible. Like I've always wanted to become an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to make something, but there was that stigma that's like, oh, like you have to be like old or I don't know, like you can't do it when you're young, right? You don't have experience, you don't have money, etc., etc. But honestly, go for it because there are many opportunities, you know, like look at like there's probably clubs related to school, clubs and a community and everything like that. But if you can't find those opportunities, make them yourself. I know that seems like pretty nerve-wracking at first, but you know, everyone starts somewhere. And in my opinion, I don't know if this is actually true, but I think colleges and universities love when you take initiative. And if there isn't like a club at your school that's business oriented, like make one. Or, you know, if you want something that's like changed in the community, like just do it. And, you know, the success rate isn't probably 100%, but colleges like to see, or universities, or anyway, we call them universities, but I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah, we just like, they just like seeing like you take that leadership opportunity, like someone already said earlier. So yeah.
Bouncing off Allison really quickly, what she said is so true. I went to a small high, it's the #1 high school in my state, but it was small and didn't have a lot of business clubs. And that's why I took the initiative to co-fund the economics club in my school to do more business clubs on my app. So definitely that should not be one of your excuses, like my school doesn't offer it. Well, then do it. Like if that's something you're passionate about, do it.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to the idea of creating your own opportunities. It doesn't have to be in school. So personally, I was interested in investments and all that. So I did find like a bunch of random people, not random, but like high school students and graduate students around Silicon Valley. And then we like started it's called Investing ESG Fund, like a fund, and we pulled in money and then we just invest according to ESG values. And I think that was a great experience. So if any of you guys are interested in anything, you can find your friends, or you don't have to know them either. You could just like cold outreach, email them, see if they're interested.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree with all of you guys that like it's really all, it's not, well, okay, they really want to see you take initiative, but it also doesn't have to be all like business related. It can be anything you want to do. They're kind of just seeing that you like, well, I don't know what they're saying, but like in my mind, like maybe like they're looking that, oh, you do have like the leadership like to do it, or like taking the initiative to do it. But also if you want to go into the business field, don't feel pressured into having like all your extracurriculars be like geared towards business, because I know for me, half of my extracurriculars weren't even business related. So yeah. If you also if you like want to do something, honestly, just like create, and if it's not offered at your school, literally just create it yourself. Or it doesn't even have to be a part of your school, it can be outside, like an outside organization or something. It really just takes a dedication and commitment to do it. Also finding the right people to do it with, if you don't want to do it alone, is also kind of vital, because I found I found super amazing people who I really admired, and they inspired me to do what I wanted to do too. So yeah.
What Jessica just said is actually super important, the part about being well-rounded on your apps. When I told you guys like they'd want very business-oriented people, yes, but I had dance on my application. You need to do I had HOSA, which is like a medical thing, Relay for Life. It's not like, because yeah, I'm interested in business, but obviously I have my other interests. They don't want someone just like, you know, it's made very clear when someone is applying to a business school and is just saying like all these random business things that they've done just to like stand out. You know, they want to see what you're actually passionate about.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you guys. Also, I think there are a lot of questions just like, you know, directed to a specific person that can be really like easily answered, and we don't need to like make it a discussion question. So if you guys are like seeing any questions that you can just like, you know, really quick reply to someone, just feel free to type in the chat, directing to whoever asked the question. I think the next like question we're getting from a lot of people, I think it's actually not only to Allison, but a lot of private ones I'm getting are to Allison, but also like to all of you guys. If you have mixed passions, or sort of like, you know, multiple spikes, some people are saying, or, you know, like things that you're interested in, how did you find schools that best fit that?
I guess I can start. I can't speak to US schools just because I don't know enough about them, although I'm sure it's very similar to Canadian schools. But a lot of schools are actually pretty well-rounded, as in, yes, they have a good business school, but they also have an excellent like med program or a pre-med program, sorry, or like, I don't know, engineering program. So for me, I just found those schools. So for Canada, or specifically Ontario, that would be like University of Toronto, Western University, Queen's University, universities like that, where it's like if you go to any program, obviously like, Ivy Business School looks really good at Western, but like their pre-med program is actually really, really, I guess, great as well. So definitely look for schools like that. I would apply to different places. The amount of like variety in my programs that I applied to is like insane. Like I applied to econ, I applied to like just general business, I applied to health science, I applied to kinesiology. Like I just applied. And then like after applying, I started to narrow down my options. When I was receiving acceptances or rejections, like that's totally normal. So I think just keep your options very wide. And I know it seems like crazy at first because like there's so much stuff that you want to be able to do. Don't forget, like a lot of colleges and unis, like you can do dual degrees, which I think is very cool, and that's kind of what I'm doing anyway. So if you do have multiple interests, like you don't have to choose one necessarily. So I don't know if that answered the question. I hope it did. But if anyone can jump in and say anything else, that would be great.
Yeah, I would say if you have like multiple spikes, don't forget that you can minor and double major too. Like I literally think my sister is minoring in 2 different things and double majoring too. So don't feel restricted. And also, I guess maybe you have like a concern for you have okay, wait. I have too many thoughts going in my head, but I guess like maybe a concern is like how are you going to I guess a lot of people say you need to have like one common theme in your application or something, and if you have multiple spikes, then how do you like have a common theme or something? But know that you can sort of like weave them together or find like some common ground or like a relation between the 2 like interests or spikes that you have. And then another thing is I know that like even if you want to go to med school, you can literally still major in business. There's not like restrictions on that or anything. Anyways, yeah.
I wanted to add on to Jessica what she was saying about minoring. I also have another passion, which is fashion. I love fashion photo and photography. So I will be minoring in a fashion design at my school and hoping to do a business thing with that. And I'm gonna move on to the next question in the comments. So many people are talking about, I'm sure all our panelists would want to talk about this. Your college application, what's one thing that made you stand out? What do you think is the most important thing on your college application? And to that, I'd say, I don't think there's one thing that was the most important on my college app. Personally, I think that, again, my leader things, like my leadership definitely carried me for sure. Like co-funding economics club at my school that made them, I won the economics department award at my school, so they really saw my passion for economics. Co-funding my Helping Hands for Hunger organization and being president of Relay for Life. Again, just these leadership positions, business schools love those. Really like they make you stand out and they see that you want to take initiative and can be a group leader.
Great.
For sure. No.
Go ahead.
No. Okay.
I think Rania helped us sort of like transition to the next question, so you guys can all go ahead and answer that one too.
Sounds good. Like Lamia said, leadership is super, super important no matter like it doesn't have to be like a specific club. Like I know like DECA is like super big. And then everyone does it, and like you're scared that like, oh, like I never did DECA. Like I never did DECA. But it's definitely more about what you think you stand out in the most. So it's not about necessarily like like everyone's doing DECA, like I should do DECA or I should write about DECA, but it's more about like what you're passionate about. You're definitely gonna be more thorough and demonstrate your abilities more if you're talking about something that you actually enjoy. Like if I never did DECA, so I can just talk about maybe like if I didn't like DECA or if I didn't really like case competitions, like I'm not necessarily going to write about that, because even though it looks really good that maybe I did DECA, like I could talk about this other, I don't know, junior achievement, for example, or something like that. That's maybe it's a little smaller, maybe it's not as well known, but I'm more interested in and more passionate about, and then you can talk about that, for like your essays. It'll be like admission officers can tell when you really want it. They can tell if you are being genuine, and so I think being genuine is probably the most important part of any essay, because anybody can say, oh, I did DECA and I won first place, but you have to demonstrate like why you love business or why you love whatever program that interests you.
Yeah, okay. Also, I want to add, I keep getting questions about like personal statements, and I just want to add that your personal statement can have like literally nothing to do with your major. My essay had nothing to do with business at all. My entire essay was about Thai dance, and what I got, okay, when I was in the college application process, I literally binge watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and I attended every single webinar from like anyone. And really the essays are they want to get to know you as a person, to make sure like you're not a robot and you're something like beyond your stats. So they want to get to know you, like, do you have a personality, like, you know what I mean? So your personal statement doesn't have to do with it. Doesn't, I mean, it can, but it doesn't have to do with your major. And also like your personal statement isn't really about, well, it can be about like, oh, this is why I want to major in this, but they'll most likely already know what you want to major in based off your extracurriculars, right? You spent 4 years doing these things. Like, I mean, I know I spent 4 years doing business things, and I don't want to do business anymore. Well, maybe I do, but I don't know. But bottom line is you don't have to write your essay about business or anything like related to, it can be anything, like literally anything you're passionate about. So yeah.
Yeah, just to add on to that, my personal statement was nothing about business. It was about martial arts, and there's literally a whole paragraph about like an anecdote while I'm in like the ring, and it had nothing to do with business. But there are, like, I know for if you're applying for a business school, there are probably questions that gear towards like why business. And if you don't have any experience, I totally understand. Like it's a pretty pre-professional thing, even though you could create your opportunities, but somehow like intertwine like the qualities or like like the leadership qualities. I know there's other ones besides leadership, but just try to intertwine and bring it all together so it becomes a whole.
Bouncing off of what Karen said, I saw some things in the chat about like our biggest tip about like why UPenn, why Ross, why Harvard, why Western, like there's a lot of the schools I know. For Ross School of Business, I had to write a why Ross School, why business. And for that, I think the biggest thing that helped me is I took time out of my day and I researched a lot about the school. I mean, I've been interested about the school, so I knew a lot about it. But in my essay, I wrote so many things about the school. I wrote specific professor names. That's a really cool thing to write in your thing. Like, I'd like to do research with this professor, and it's so easy to find professors. You just search up professors from the school. I wrote specific clubs that the school offered that other schools didn't. I wrote specific classrooms that I wanted to be in, just like narrowing it down so they know you're super interested in that specific school. And if you're applying to multiple schools, again, you do that to all schools.
Also to add to that, it also, like, your essay also depends on the prompt, because I know for my Ross application, my essays were very geared towards business, because they actually want you, like, straight up, like Rania said before, they want you to know that you want to do business. So for my Ross application, I was really straight up, um, and same with the essay about like why you want to go to Ross. I did the same exact thing. You have to be really specific, and they want to make sure you did your research about the school. And yeah, but my Ross essay, I I actually used a tie dance again, except I made it into a business, because there's this one essay, I forget what the prompt is, but it like asks you how to solve, or what was it, Ronnie? It was like,
it was like you had to do, this was a really hard prompt. It was like you had to think about an issue in the world and then solve it using business.
yeah. So I basically took something that wasn't related to business at all and then made it something related to business. So anyways.
But what Jessica just said, like that is so important about the fact that I don't know about the rest. I think like Allison was talking about how her application wasn't super business oriented, I think, because she was interested in many different things. But I know for Ross, like you are not going to get in if you are not 100% business. Like those essays, your common app, anything, like they want it related back, tie back into business. So if you have to change up your essays for different schools, then do that. I personally did that, but I knew I had friends going to Ross, and their biggest tip was that I talked to the dean. It's I want business people. I wanted medicine and now I want business. Like, no, they really want business oriented people, because those are the people that are going to make the money. Those are the people that are going to take their master's program there.
Yeah, I agree, but also for my Ross application, like I think I only had 1 or 2 essays. I think the supplements, okay, my personal statement for Ross was the same that I applied to everywhere, and it was literally about tie dance. And so it doesn't have to be like solely business, but in your supplements, when they straight up ask you what what do you want from this school, then there you got to show like what you want, and they want to know that's what you want, and you're like certain. So yeah.
Great, thanks everyone for answering. I'm looking through, a lot of you guys are getting like the little questions directed to specific people. Do we want to, I don't know, are stats really, would you guys say stats are that important? Because a lot of people do want to know what your stats were, but I don't know if that should be the focus.
I have 2 things with that. One, in the chat, a lot of people are asking about time management skills. My number 1 thing, get a planner. I love planners. Like you write out your day, you cross off as you go. That's time management. 2, stats. I know when I was in your position, like that's all I wanted to know. That's all I ever asked people. Like, what are your stats? Like, what am I gonna get into school? It is not an end all be all. I'm telling you guys, like, just, I mean, obviously there's a range. Personally, I was under the range for my SAT score. People asked if I took both. I only took my SAT, but my GPA was high. But again, they're not end all be all. I have a friend, he had a 4.0 unweighted, took all IB courses, valedictorian, and he was national merit SAT, didn't get into Ross. It's not about stats. I'm like really trying to stress that.
I think they want you to like okay, I'm sure like they mainly focus on like what you've done, but they also want to make sure you're not going to fail this like at school, you know, because they want someone who's going to be successful at school too. So also I didn't even take the SAT because it literally got canceled every single month I registered for it. So I never even sent my SAT scores. But I did have a high GPA. But I'm pretty sure they want someone who's going to be successful and can handle the rigor at their school. So they want you to be successful there. So that's why I'm pretty sure that's like the main reason they want you to have like good stats, but you don't need perfect stats. Like I did not have the best stats at my school. So it's really, they definitely focus on your extracurriculars.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I just agree totally about you don't have to be like exceptionally like the best. Just be like okay, because like by the time you're starting to think that you should apply to them, I'm pretty sure like everybody else who is applying with you, they all have the numbers, but not everybody has the same qualities. You know, like you can't just make up the qualities, but the numbers you could like fake it kind of. So yeah, you don't have to be top of the class and all that. So just don't put too much pressure on grades. Although there is like a certain range that to the point where you could feel safe applying to that.
What Karen said is so important about like that what you have to think about is that let's say you're applying to Ross. Everyone applying to Ross has exceptional scores, or like everyone is in your boat. Everyone, let's say everyone has a 4.0, everyone has a 1600, everyone has a 36. What makes you different? Like at a certain point, there's a threshold. Like your stats are like nice, like okay, good, you're smart. What about you is like why me over Jessica? Like let's say they have one more spot. Why are they going to pick me over Jessica? That's what they want to see in your application.
Yeah, thanks guys for answering that question. And then I think we have time for one more question. So the ones we're getting now are centered around awards, what awards you put in, or how you got awards, what you wanted to do that had awards, what you put in. I think Allison, you answered one question about you put awards related to everything. I think a lot of people want to know like how you got opportunities or how you found, even getting awards in the first place.
Yeah, so I literally put everything. So one of my awards was like for dance, for competition or something. I think another award was like in like grade 10 where I like wrote this I don't know, poetry and like won some sort of award. So just like take all the opportunities given to you. I personally, there was only one. I mean, I didn't really go to a U.S. school, so maybe U.S. schools are more rigorous in that sense. But for Western, I only put like as head of administration on robotics, we won the entrepreneurship award. So that was one of the awards that we won, and that was the only business related one. Everything else was to do with like I play piano, so I had an award for that. I don't recall anything else, if I'm being honest. I don't know if there's like a limit for any other school, but Western it's just like 2 or 3. You can put as many as you want, but it's like it's hard to win awards, and I totally agree. If you debate, there's like if you go to a lot of competitions, like there's a lot of awards. So if you have some sort of like passion that you're interested in, and you want to do competitive or you want to do competition, like go for it or take those opportunities given to you. If it's like a case competition, I don't know if this is true, but I think Girls for Business had some sort of case competition, I think. Okay, I'm not thinking wrong. Okay, but like take those opportunities given to you. Like there's plenty of them out there. You just have to search it up. And I know it's like difficult to find, but they are totally out there, like within your reach. And for I don't know if this is different for US, but like ours didn't have to be only business. So it was like a variety.
Yeah, wait, to add to that, I literally only had one business award too, and that was from camp. The rest were just a bunch of like from Titans and like the social science department. Honestly, I would take this or any other part of the application to sort of showcase like what more you have like to yourself. Like obviously like a lot of your extracurriculars are going to be business, but I sort of took like I made like all like the award section and my essay section as sort of a place to showcase what like more I have like besides, you know, stuff in my extracurriculars.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Go
You can
ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just want to add on. I didn't even have a business award. Like nothing. I didn't know DECA existed until like my senior year when I was applying. But yeah, I also did not have like any debate stuff. I'm an SF. I mean, I feel like there's if you're in like other areas like South Bay or East Bay, I'm talking like Bay Area region. I think there's more opportunities. Like I think it's fine if you don't have any business award because I didn't have it. But I think most of mine were just like martial arts, literally like painting, poetry. And I even put one like for like Mandarin poetry recital thingy. But yeah, just put everything you got. It doesn't have to be business related.
I personally didn't have business related awards either. I had my economics department award, and then I had HOSA ones, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. It's like DECA, but for health and sciences. And I just got like #2 in my state or something like that. It was just like like random awards, anything you can think of. Like, oh, and I had like a dance thing, but again, awards is just anything you've gotten throughout your life. They don't, it's like whatever. And someone commented about they like said something like, is this an award or an extracurricular activity? Nothing is like, you don't like, it's up to you. It's what you make of it. Like if you got a certificate and you're like, oh, is this an award? Like, yeah, why not? Like if you think it's something awarding, then write it. Like they're not gonna like say, oh no, it's not. Like it's just, it's your college application.
All right, thank you so much to all of our panelists. We are out of time for more discussion questions, but